Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Lawsplaining the Interwebs. I am your host, Nick Rekieta of Rekieta Law, a small law firm in central Minnesota. With me today is, of course, Sriracha. And we all.
Hello there.
Yeah, hi. Hi. Sorry, I was going to just talk right over you. I'm a steamroller right now. And we are
Yeah, steamroll away.
also. We are also joined by special guest, who I will let introduce her credentials in a moment, Katie. Katie, otherwise known as Nippleless Woman. So, Katie, if you could go ahead and tell me why you are here.
Hi, I'm known on the Kiwi boards as Nippleless Woman or Katie. Um, so Russell and I went to college together, and I went there for 2 years. He went for 4 or 5, counting on who you talk to. But I'm here to discuss my time with Russell.
Perfect. Perfect. So, Katie is going to help us as we go through Chapter 2 of Russell Greer's magnum opus, Why I Sued Taylor Swift. And she's going to help us fact check. And I'm hoping she'll read with us, and we'll just have a glorious time. Let me lay a couple things out. Of course, we are going to be reading through the chapter. This work does belong, I guess, to Russell Grier, although I feel like in some ways it belongs to all of us. But it is his work. We are giving him full credit for it. We are contributing to and transforming it in the good nature of fair use. And Russell, if you ever have questions about that, just give me a call. But we will be adding our commentary, our opinions, our fact checks. We will be doing all of that, and I will be doing that with a solid bottle of something. What am I gonna have tonight, guys? I'm gonna start with brandy, and then we'll move from there, and we'll see how that goes. But in the chat, feel free to drop us a line, ask questions, make comments, make fun. This is a joyous event, so have fun with it, and let's see what happens. So how do you lovely ladies want to do this? Do you want to switch off? What we did last time was we switched off paragraphs. I thought that was a pretty decent sort of format. So we could do that. Just kind of do one, two, three, if that
Yeah.
works.
Yeah, that works for me.
Okay. Let me jump out of this character for just a second, and not out of this character, but out of the character of this stream for just a second to talk about the fact that yes, there are 3 new filings in the Russell Grier case. 2 of them were filed today. One was filed a few days ago. The first one was his rather fantastic response to Taylor Swift saying, "I wasn't served," where he basically threw a tantrum for 30 pages and said how he really tried to serve her and she should be forced to accept his service. Because as we've seen, Russell seems to have a habit of thinking that he should be able to force his will upon women. But I guess anticipating the failure of his reply to their response to his motion to dismiss, he has filed 2 additional motions. A motion for, let's see, what is it? A motion to reissue the summons so he can attempt service again. And then the other one was a motion to have an alternative means of service than personal service. So this would be like service by publication, where he would basically take out a classified ad in the newspaper and be like, "Yo, Tay Tay, you being sued." That's kind of the strategy he's going for. Or perhaps that he could email one of her agents, or that he could make the court force her attorney Natalia Rose to accept service. One of those sort of things. I haven't read through them entirely, but that's kind of the gist of what he's working with. So I will be going through those and hopefully putting together a video on them or incorporating them into a live stream or something in the near future. There is just a lot to cover. with Russell and everybody else. So we do have a super chat sans wording from Zephael. Thank you so much, Zephael. And if my moderator, Clay, is not in here, he would tell you to drink at every super chat. So that is up to you. I can't give you that kind of legal advice. But I'm going to start with a sip, and then I think we should go ahead and get started. Do one of you want to start with the first? The first two paragraphs are really short, so why don't one of you take both of those, and then the next one, and then I'll go, I guess.
I can do it.
Yeah, kick us off, Katie.
Yes, please do.
How in the world am I going to see this?
That is a
do you
good
not
question.
have the book?
Oh, do I need a copy of the book?
If you actually pull up the YouTube stream, it is on the screen.
Okay,
right
let
now.
me do that real fast.
So, no worries.
Sorry.
No worries.
And in the meantime, Nick, I'm very excited for you to read. Are you going to read these new filings on stream at some point?
I can.
Oh, they're gold.
I can. Absolutely.
Oh, they're great.
They're really amazing.
So while we're getting things set up, let me lay out my schedule for some people. Tomorrow I will be live streaming how to construct an effective defense for Cody Wilson based on what we know now. So this will be a dive into the rules of evidence, how you examine and cross-examine a witness, and how you construct a narrative for a crime that is really, really hard to defend. And it's a little bit of an uncomfortable thing to do due to the nature of the allegations, the fact that it's a minor that's involved, and what that means for an attorney who is faced with that task. So I'm going to be, basically telling a story that I believe would potentially create reasonable doubt for a jury, and talk about how you implement it. So if you're interested in Cody Wilson, or how you do exam and cross-exam the rules of evidence and stuff like that, it could be very interesting. It could be a catastrophic disaster, but I think it'll be cool. That's tomorrow night. Friday night, I'm going to have Doug Tenneple on, and we're going to talk probably a lot about intellectual property and stuff like that. And then Saturday, I will actually be on the Heel stream at some point on the Ralph Retort. So that's kind of my schedule for the next couple days. But I will find time to do Russell Greer's stuff maybe Sunday. We'll see. But that's that. And are we good? Are we good with filler? We're ready to go.
Yeah.
I can stop talking about me. Oh, and Mundane Matt did apologize to Kimball, and I don't know if Sriracha wants to comment about that. If that was...
He apologized to Kimball by name. Oh my god, I lost it. I lost my gosh darn mind. When I listened to that video, I can't believe it.
Yeah, he named the specific people he named. It was Dame Pesos, Maxwell Kimball, and
Maxwell Silver.
Maxwell Silver. Who there was one other person, wasn't there? I can't remember.
Yeah, there was. I don't know who it was though.
I just it's like he gave his corporate apology. What a brilliant person. But okay, so Katie, you can see the book now.
Yeah.
Okay, and when I scroll, it'll actually scroll. There'll be a little delay, but I'll try and anticipate that and make sure that you'll be able to see all of the document that you need.
Yeah, it just works. I'll make it out best as I can. It's a little bit like some of the words, but I'll do as best as I can. Okay.
Does that help? I can make it. Whoops.
Can you make it bigger?
This is, I think, about as big as I can.
Okay, that's fine. Oh, that helps.
Okay. Hopefully the last letter might be cut off, but we'll make it work.
That's fine. Okay, that's good. Thank you. Who's Russell Grier? A heavy-set jail warden for the Uinta jail system asked aloud. Studying a clipboard contained all my documentation. The man over there, the assistant jailer, pointed to me. The warden came over and studied me. 18 years old, dressed in orange clothes, restrained in handcuffs that connected the belly chain and newly charged inmate. You're a little young to be... Oh, do you want me to read that or no?
I was thinking we would... So typically we'll switch off after each paragraph, but with that one I had you do the first two because they were so short. So Sriracha is next.
You're a little young to be facing a felony, the warden sternly said as he studied me.
Was the warden stern, Russell?
I don't get why warden is capital. Wait, no, can't get lost in the punctuations. We'll be here all
No.
night. What a sight I must have been to that warden, a prisoner with a facial paralysis. I could barely speak because I was so afraid.
And
I
the
nodded
facial
my head.
paralysis. Sorry. Sorry. I shouldn't do that.
He gave me a long, hard examination and then turned away. The warden and the assistant continued talking about my alleged crime. And I say alleged because it was anything but a crime. My quote-unquote crime was a high school prank that had went terribly wrong. My brain had gone on stupid mode when I did... Yeah, I believe that. When I did the prank that would lead to my eventual arrest, I shuddered as flashbacks of me committing the prank ran through my mind. Like a track stuck on repeat, the warden's question continued to echo inside my head and caused me to reflect on my life. Not enough. Who is Russell Grier?
With that brain stuck on stupid mode. So he's gonna get into the prank, right? That's gonna come up. I haven't read this.
He never says exactly what he was charged with.
Can you help us out there, Katie?
Yeah.
So he was charged with terroristic threats.
All right. So if you do not know what a terroristic threat is, I can tell you because I have actually defended terroristic threat cases. They're great because they're horrendously unconstitutional charges typically. And let me tell you what a terroristic threat case typically involves. I'm not saying that this is Russell's case. I don't know. But what you usually get is something along the lines of a disorderly conduct charge. And then you get a terroristic threat charge, which is a felony, at least in Minnesota and most places. Obviously, in Utah, it was a felony as well. And what the police will do is
it was in Wyoming.
In Wyoming. Okay, so yes, Wyoming High School. That's right. What the police will do is they will charge both the disorderly conduct, which is typically like a misdemeanor level charge, along with the terroristic threat, in the hope that the felony charge will convince the person to plea to the misdemeanor charge without taking it to trial, whether or not they think they can beat the domestic or the disorderly conduct charge. Very frequent situation where you have that double charge happening. Now, what a terroristic threat is by legal elements is a threat, a statement of, and I'm going to go by the Minnesota standard, but I'm pretty sure it's similar, if not the same, in Wyoming. But it is a statement said to another person with the intent to convey to a specific person. Sometimes you say it to the person. Sometimes you say it to someone else, knowing that they will transmit that statement to someone specific. But it's a specific threat of a typically a specific type of violence that, if done, would be a serious assault charge or something worse. So a terroristic threat would, and in Minnesota, it's very specific. So a terroristic threat would be, I'm going to chop your head off. Okay, that would be a terroristic threat if it was intended to cause fear and apprehension in the victim. But saying, I'm going to put you in the ground, even though the implication is I'm going to beat you or kill you and bury you, put you in the ground is not really a specific threat of violence to someone. It would be considered like a euphemism or an idiom, and so that doesn't tend to qualify. So terroristic threats, it is a very serious crime. In Minnesota, it's punishable by 5 years in prison, in real prison. So
is it a felony in Minnesota?
It is. It is. We do have two quick super chats to get to. Matthew Neidig says, at what point are threats docs actionable? If you could clarify, Matthew, I'm not entirely sure what you meant. You don't have to send another super chat. Just at me, bro. So I can get some clarification. But threats can be actionable when, like I said, they're intended to convey some sort of apprehension or fear in a victim. Terroristic, that's a threat. A terroristic threat is a specific threat of violence, typically. Bagel Goose asks, He gave me a long, hard examination. My fanfic has the exact same line.
Nick, I'm really excited that you're here for this chapter because I have a feeling that he is lying. He goes into what exactly this prank entailed later in this chapter, and so just keep your lie detectors on. You too, Katie.
I know a bunch about this because it came up in the paralegal program because someone was like, WTF, he's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, why are we around this human being? And yeah, so I'm in the aware about this.
All right. So let me then I will start my paragraph. Just weeks before, I had been on the student council at the National Honor Society. I was a senior at Evanston, Wyoming High School. Though I was a nice guy, my school years had been plagued with misunderstandings and other struggles experienced by a young man with a facial disability termed Mobius syndrome. Footnote: in a nutshell, Mobius, sometimes spelled Mobius, syndrome is a rare disorder where the person born with it can't close his or her lips due to missing the 7th cranial muscle that controls the lip muscles and eye. Just one eye, apparently. I'm not sure. Maybe it broke his fingers for typing. For the sake of addressing and clearing the elephant in the room, my disability, which is a disability as defined by the Americans with Disabilities Act, as it hinders 2 or more life functions, isn't the result of having large teeth or having something wrong with my lips or jaw. Contrary to the common assumption, my disability also isn't the result of a car crash or some other accident, though that would make explaining my disability a lot more interesting. I like to think of how cool it would be to be a war veteran and explain. Yes, I'm sure, Russell, that's what it is. It's cool to be a war veteran and explain that you suffered a horrific injury that left you permanently disabled.
The terrorist took my 7th cranial nerve and numb.
Maybe that's what happened to John McCain. Oh, that was rude. Too soon. Or not soon enough. I don't know. Okay, sorry. The reason I look funny is because I was carrying 20 guns on my shoulder over in Iraq, and then a fly landed on my nose, which caused me to sneeze. Naturally, with 20 wounded guys. I thought he said guns. Naturally, with 20 wounded guys slumped over me, I lost my balance and fell face first on a landmine. Who needs a Purple Heart? I got the deformity to show it. Oh, Russell. That's one of the more disrespectful things I've read today. I mean, come on. All right, Katie, if you want to take over here.
Sadly, I am no war hero. I was born this way. It's like
you and Lady Gaga.
And he hates Lady Gaga too. Boring, huh? I mean, if I'm going to be walking around like this, I need a cool story to explain to the sightseers. Luckily, I can be happy that my disability isn't progressive, which thankfully means in 20 years my face won't be shaped like a toolbox. I can only imagine all the doorways my face would get stuck in if it suddenly progressed and grew to the shape of a 6x8 toolbox. That would be not fun at all. Fun at all in all.
Oh, so it goes on here. I've got it scrolled down. It's like, look at that picture.
Yeah, like I said in the first chapter, this book has a lot of visual gags and some very strange formatting choices.
I remember when he posted that photo.
So if you want to finish out the last sentence or
in all seriousness, my face is the way it is because I'm missing the 7th cranial nerve muscle in my, probably says face.
Yeah, it's down right below the picture of my face.
Oh, I can't see that.
Oh, it says bad luck of the draw, I guess.
Okay, there we go. Bad luck of the draw, I guess. Oh, Russell. You've said now twice about missing the 7th cranial nerve. Like shit, we get it.
Hold on. Ryan English said his fantasy is getting 20 dudes killed while messing up his face? ? I know that's the cool war story I'm going with.
Katie, did you see, speaking of repetition in his most recent filing, he mentions that Taylor Swift is on tour twice in a
Twice.
3-sentence block.
And he's like, some process server says I should get front row tickets. And I'm
And throw the documents at her feet.
and it's like, why? Could you imagine Taylor Swift's staff is like, where the hell is Russell?
Yeah, he's like holding up his hand. Like, look, shake my hand, shake my hand. Right as she goes down, psych, holds up a stack of papers.
I would
He
pay
should-
so
he-
much money to see that.
He should definitely do it. He should do a GoFundMe for like the $2,000 it would cost for those tickets.
I'm
Could-
gonna shower Taylor Swift with paper and arsenic.
Well, that was the thing. He's just not like, I don't know if he doesn't remember, but like with Ariana Grande, he got like real front close seats and like the mosh pit, thinking he would be able to like talk to, like, be like, hey, I'm Russell Greer, you know? And it was like,
It's me.
hey, there's security in between. Like, there is like a man size of like wall of like security between you and Ariana Grande. He just thinks like it's like open free for all.
Yeah, it's a very intimate setting in a giant stadium with like 40,000 people.
Yeah, he's not getting it.
All right, Sriracha, do you want to pick up?
Of course. Bad luck of the draw, I guess. And then we have a photo credit here. It's important to give credits where they're due. Photo credit, Russell Greer in my Eclipse glasses looking like a pose.
Wait, how does he get photo credit for that? He didn't take that photo. He couldn't have taken and composed. I mean, I guess he could have put it on a stand and then walked
Nick-
around and done.
Nick, other people that get photo credits in this book is Gmail. Just... At one point, he credits his the corporation Gmail for taking a photo of his inbox. But I digress. I've learned to love my life despite living with something so challenging. Because of my disability, eating and speaking can be difficult. When I talk, my T's sound like C's. My V's sound like Z's. B's become G's. It's almost as if I'm speaking in an alien form of English. Pronouncing places and names can be especially difficult. I can't even pronounce my last name clearly.
Grier.
Since I have...
That's true.
I'll show off, Grier. Since I've become so comfortable in my own skin, I like to think that I speak perfect English, and that when I speak, I have a Dean Martin voice going on, and I sound like Taylor Swift is the coolest in a Studley way. I forget, though, that when a stranger hears me, they can hear, "Girl Swift is the coolest." That is how it is written. Anybody listening to the audio version, I am not being mean right now. It can be frustrating. A lot of times, I have to repeat myself when I speak, and make sure I speak slowly with enunciation.
Can you
Okay,
give me a Taylor Swift is the coolest slowly with enunciation? Is that possible?
Well, it's Once again, I am just reading the text in the book.
This is all Russell. Don't get me started on how I eat. People say it's rude to slurp your food. Well then, I must be the rudest person they've ever met because I naturally slurp my food. I have to tilt my head backwards when I drink, or else my drink comes out of my mouth and stains my shirt. That's unfortunate. That I do have a little bit of empathy and sympathy for that, because that would be so irritating. Because I know how annoying it is when like you're sitting with someone and they sound like some horrific monster while they eat, and that's his normal.
Yeah, but think about how much joy he's brought to people by eating like a baby bird.
That's terrible. It's always hard to explain when I'm walking around with a giant yellow splash on a white shirt. What are you drinking? Just drink water. Don't wear white shirts. It's
That's what it works out in.
yeah. A button up.
Yeah, he does.
Also, due to my disability, I drool randomly. It's embarrassing because when I drool, I'm not even looking at a freshly baked pizza. That's apparently when everybody else drools openly. or something that would cause an average person to salivate. It just happens at the most awkward times, like when I'm asking a girl out, or when I'm talking to my boss. Whenever I begin to drool, I joke that I'm working on my Homer Simpson impression. Donuts. And I bet that joke isn't old after like 26 years. Oh my. Okay. Sorry. Let's carry on. Let's carry on. Katie, you're up.
Continuing with my high school flashback, like any young high school male, I had strived to be liked, to be popular. I was mostly kind to everyone. And he wrote that sentence being like, and there was this one girl I definitely wasn't nice to.
That bitch that wouldn't take me to prom.
That bitch Rachel. No. So I made a habit of learning people's name, acknowledging them in the hallways. I had won awards in speech and debate. Not bad for a guy who can't close his lips.
I believe that zero.
I do too.
Yeah, I think that's our first lie.
Right. What award? The You Did It award? Like
the mascot? You were the best mascot. Here you go, Russell.
Sorry, go on.
Had been on student council for all 4 years of high school. When I was a junior in high school, I was induced into the National Honor Society. On top of that, I was a janitor at Walmart, which isn't a bad job for a high school kid.
Still is, I think. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just walking on sunshine until I learned that I was a laughing stock. The fact that you were working as a janitor wasn't your clue. Like, granted, like, there are some people who do very well at it, but, like, a janitor in high school is just absurd.
Yeah, that's a strange position for Walmart, for a high schooler. Someone on the sales floor, on the stocking team, cashier, something like that, is very common. The janitor, I don't know if that's all right.
Guys, something's telling me that the fact that he held the position as a janitor was the least of the things getting him made fun of for.
Yeah, probably.
And that's the thing too, is like with his history, he has worked multiple janitor jobs. And I don't know if he just doesn't work with the public, or like employers look at him and go like, we're not putting you on the floor.
Yeah, that could be. Because, that would be very difficult. But let me just clarify the standard of employee at a Walmart. I went into Walmart, let's see, this would have been I think it was 2 Novembers ago. And my wife's family they were making Christmas cookies, and they had run out of molasses. Are you guys familiar with the substance known as molasses? Yes. Somewhat.
Yes.
All right. I would assume most people are. So I go to Walmart and I'm looking around and I'm like looking in the syrup aisle. I don't find anything. I go over by the sugars. I go all over the place looking for a stupid jar of molasses because they just needed them to do the cookies. And it's like later in the evening and they do have the stock team out and they're loading up the shelves. So I go up to one because I worked briefly at a Target doing the stocking. So I figured these people definitely know where all the products are because they put them out every day. And I go up and I said, "Hi, can you point me to the molasses?" And the person looked at me and went, molasses. What is molasses?" And I'm like, like a syrup, sugar thing. It's in everything you make and eat. Have you ever had barbecue sauce or a cookie or bread? You've probably had molasses in it. I said, okay. So then they went over to the next stock person and asked them. And these are not high schoolers, mind you. These are like, adults. And they asked the other person, they said, what is molasses again? So that's what we're dealing with here. This is the level of Walmart employee that Russell is not capable of being, apparently,
What?
he is below someone who doesn't know what molasses is.
When I worked at McDonald's, they had made all the pedophiles work the 11 to 7 shift because they weren't allowed to interact with teenagers. So maybe it was that kind of deal.
Maybe. I don't know. It was a very rough day. Turned out they were just out of molasses, and I was looking in all the right places. I went back there 2 days later and bought molasses.
Did the cookies get made?
The cookies got made and consumed with vigor. And molasses.
All right, back to our current literature.
I'm digressing. I'll stop.
No, you're good. The Mr. Cool image I thought I had was apparently all imagined. As I was told by several people that I was despised by many people for having a disability.
Yes, I'm sure the people were like, you know what? I despise that guy for having a disability. That's why I hate him.
That he did not choose. It has nothing to do with the fact that you were creepy as fuck with like women especially.
Yeah, I was gonna say that sounds like a cartoon villain. Like, hey, see that kid? I hate him because he's disabled. Where was I? Oh yeah. To make matters worse, the girl I had liked all through high school essentially told me to hit the road, to get lost. I was so distressed. I didn't want to go to school anymore. I didn't want to live anymore. I attempted suicide, but was too afraid to go through with it. During lunch, I would eat in my car, not wanting to be with the other kids. I guess you could say I was having my senior moment.
Wait,
the moment when I was entering adulthood and didn't know who or what I wanted to become. Yeah, like, can we do a drinking game where every time he messes up a common simile or metaphor, you have to do a shot?
Wait, I thought you weren't doing that.
No, I'm not. I just want to see you two get punched.
Yeah.
I had seen counselors and therapists all through my young adult years to cope with my depression and anxiety, but I had stopped seeing them because I was a headstrong, albeit foolish, young man who thought that he didn't need people telling him how to think or how to feel.
How much do you want to bet that the girl he liked all through high school didn't tell him to hit the road, but told him to get hit by a car or a bus? Get hit on the road.
It was like something to do with like, I think it was homecoming. I think what it was is like she wouldn't go to homecoming dance with him. Cause like, and then he does this stupid prank, which is like right around Christmas.
I see. Yeah, I don't. Yeah. I don't know. I don't believe most of his attributed statements. Aside from my personal emotional problems, my relationship with my family was sour. When a young Mormon boy turns 19, he is expected to serve a religious mission for 2 years as a sort of duty to God. I was on the rocks about Mormonism and religion in general. My parents were expecting me to go. Whenever I resisted or told them that a mission wasn't for me, shouting matches would always erupt between my parents and me. My parents had read somewhere that if my tonsils were removed, I would behave better. Oh! So a surgery was scheduled for December 19th, 2009. All this turmoil contributed to my actions of what I did on the fateful day of December 3rd, 2009.
Wait, so is he saying that he was on pills when he did this or something? Or is he saying that the psychological trauma from getting his tonsils removed?
From almost getting them removed. They weren't actually removed.
Oh, yeah, shit, you're right.
Or, well, they might have been later.
I think they were removed. So my understanding is that he claims that his parents read something, and if he got his tonsils removed, he would start behaving better, which I call bullshit on it. That makes no sense to me. And what doctor would be like, yeah, we're going to remove these tonsils just for kicks and giggles.
Yeah. You know what? You're right, family. Let's remove his tonsils so he has better behavior as, like, an 18-year-old man. It's not like he's 11.
No.
Yeah, wait, you're right. Is that really a thing? Nick, have you ever heard that before?
No, I hear you get tonsils removed because when you have repeated tonsillitis to the point that they swell up and make it dangerous for breathing and eating. Like that's why you would have tonsils removed, or the repeated infections are caused by some sort of like structural defect that is causing the repeated infection. So they would remove the tonsil to kind of open things up and make sure food isn't getting stuck back there or something like that. That's what I've always heard. I'm not a doctor, but
Katie, is this a Mormon thing?
No, it's not a Mormon thing. And I'm not even Mormon anymore. I converted at 16 and was like, fuck it. I like vodka too much. But back to the tonsils thing, like, he claims to this day that it was the painkillers that made him do this. I don't buy that for 2 seconds.
Well, he says that the date of his surgery was after the date of the prank, so he wouldn't have they wouldn't give him pills before he had surgery.
Exactly.
Well,
like, it's just the craziness of his timeline.
For the, oh God, just a second. Stream is going weird. If you can hear me, I gotta make sure. I gotta change a thing real quick. So I've learned, guys, that I have carbonite, which is great, and it automatically backs everything up. But it does it all the time when I'm streaming, and eats up bandwidth. So, okay, so we're back. Yeah, someone said I did some research when the book first leaked, and it is indeed an old wives' tale type thing. So there you go. Apparently, it's an old wives' tale, and the doctors in Wyoming. And I don't necessarily disbelieve that a doctor in Wyoming might be like, we can improve his behavior. Sure, he's like 18 years old at this time.
He should be suing this doctor, not Taylor Swift.
Why are his parents making medical decisions for him at 18 that he is not consenting to? How is this a thing that is going on? That's what I want to know. Because as far as I have heard, his disability has nothing to do with his competence or ability to make decisions. I mean, that might be, debatable. But
that's debatable because, like, people with Mobius syndrome, they can sometimes show more autistic traits.
Sure. Well, I think he's got some.
Yes.
All right. Since high school had become unbearable. Notice, okay, so we talked about this in the pedo stream, or after the pedo stream, Dick has been kind of talking about this. Notice the rationalizing language, the refusal to accept responsibility for his actions and what he's done. Everything his entire story is based on the fault of everyone else involved, right? It's not him. It's that he was hated for having a disability. High school was unbearable. His parents were mean and forcing him into an elective surgery. And a doctor was going along with it without his own consent. All of these things were going on, done to him. None of this had anything to do with his own actions. He was made to do it.
Oh God, yeah, that is. I think if there's one theme of this whole book, it is that nothing is ever Russell Greer's fault. Like, he considers even this whole lawsuit. How is it Taylor Swift's fault that you post everything publicly on your Facebook account and people screenshot it? Just leave the internet. Delete your account.
Or just make your account private.
Literally just press 2 buttons.
Well, he can't.
His fans.
He can't move his eyes, so he can't see where the buttons are.
He can't see the buttons.
Since high school had become unbearable, I would frequently excuse myself to take prolonged restroom breaks to control my anxiety with deep breaths and to clear my mind. I mean, I guess. On the 3rd of December 2009, as I was taking one of my breaks, my cell phone buzzed. I had received a text message from the student council president reminding me of the Christmas assembly on the 19th that I was supposed to help out at since I was on student council. Oh, that's an ugly sentence. I scoffed. I won't be here, I said to myself as I put the phone in my pocket. I then felt it. Ooh. Not a good follow-up to that line, Russell. I felt the thing that would change my life forever. A pen. Senior pranks were a huge thing at my high school. It was a rite of passage. Almost a graduation requirement to pull a prank. How many people were at this high school? Because, like, my frame of reference is my graduating class had about 550 kids in it. And then, they went up from there. So our total school is like 2,000 people. I can't imagine that literally every senior would do a prank, or even close to the maximum amount of them. A horrible prank came to mind. What if I pretend there's going to be something bad happening on the day I'm in surgery? That might be a crime. I'm just saying. In my stupid mindset, I somehow thought that this was a good idea. I pulled the cap off the pen and began to write words I wish to never repeat, to never think about on the bathroom wall. I left the bathroom, but stopped, thinking about what I had written, urging myself to go back, seeing the video camera filming me outside the bathroom. For some dumb reason, though, I returned to class and shrugged it off. I mean,
This should just show you how stupid he is. The fact that he's like, yep, they can see it, and they'll know it's me. I'm piecing.
Katie, tell me you know what he wrote on the wall.
I don't know for sure exactly what he wrote on the wall, but it was something to the effect of someone was going to shoot up the school.
Just one of those.
Okay, Nick, is that a crime?
I don't know the exact words verbatim, but my understanding from talking to previous classmates of him, it was that there was going to be a shooting or a bomb or something that was going to kill people.
Oh, I know. I've read about this on 4chan. It was, hey guys, some of you are cool. Don't go to school on the 19th. Probably depends on what he wrote, but probably a crime. Similar to calling in a fake bomb threat or something like that. Not a good idea.
Is that specific enough to be a terroristic threat?
It really depends on the wording. It really depends.
Okay.
But let me be clear. If he said, if he said I'm, like, vaguely, because he doesn't want to identify himself on the writing, that's fine, because he made the statement with the reasonable understanding that someone else that the target would see it, right? Because you have to know that if you write a list of names after I'm going to shoot so-and-so, and any school administrator or another student sees it, they're going to convey that. Any reasonable person should expect that in that setting, especially.
And the list, from my understanding, was on paper, and it was like paper that he carried around with him. So if you pissed him off, he fuck you, Brittany, and wrote it down. And it was
He had a burn book?
Yes.
But literally.
God.
Quite literally.
At the stake.
Because it was majority girls. There was only one dude on there. Everyone else was women.
I mean, that doesn't surprise me for
Not even a little
second.
bit.
For a second. But yeah, so if he said something to the effect of, I'm going to shoot Janet Torkelton or whatever, that would be a terroristic threat. Yes, because that's a specific threat of violence, of a criminal violent act. Absolutely.
My God, I think we just figured out what the subtle invitations were. After school, as I drove my slowly falling apart 1995 Bonneville?
It's a Pontiac Bonneville, not a Bonneville Pontiac.
Bonneville Pontiac away, I saw more police cars parked at the school than there usually were. The prank works. Yeah, I say it would.
Bingo!
Hell yeah, I'm in handcuffs. You totally,
We got him.
Totally pranked.
We got him, boys. We got him.
Surely school would be shut down early and everyone would have a longer Christmas break. I would be a hero, though. I hoped I wouldn't be apprehended by police. The weekend came and nothing happened. It wasn't until Monday, when the school week started again, that there were rumors of a hit list. My sister won't come to school, I overheard one girl terrifyingly say.
Lol, she doesn't know it's just a prank, bro.
Oh, you guys got totally pranked. I called it a bomb threat. It's a prank.
Too bad he didn't slip the girls on the hit list notes hey, I'm not coming for you, JK.
Yeah.
Give
Lol,
them the heads up.
Lol, you seen that hit list? Don't worry about it, B.
Hey, baby, you seen that hit list? I'd recommend you reconsider my homecoming invitation.
I'll put you on the other hit list, you know what I'm saying? Is it my turn or your turn, Katie? I don't remember.
I think it's my turn.
Okay. Go ahead.
I heard this person wants to kill 10 people, another student said in the hallway. Now I became confused. I never wrote a hit list of any specific people. I just simply stated that a disaster was going to happen on December 19th. I soon felt sick to my stomach. This was not what I wanted at all. I just wanted school to be canceled early for everyone. In my mind, what I thought I had did was harmless. It was just words and with no plan or anything. It was just a morality
Morbidly.
morbidly funny because I wouldn't even be at school that day, the day of the planned disaster. My words backfire. There were no signs of the school being canceled either. Before I knew it, the police officer, Chet, crept onto me and put his hand on my back during my geometry class. Come with me, the officer said in a deep, commanding voice. The entire classroom gasped as I was led away. I felt lower than dirt.
That'd be sediment, Russell. That would be lower than dirt. Literally.
Wait, was this like a ghetto high school? I didn't know high schools in
No.
Wyoming had police officers in them.
Someone said that this is in a town of roughly 12,000 people. So if it's
Really?
if it's in the ghetto, it's the whole town, which may be true. Oh my gosh. Sorry. Someone said he didn't want to kill 10 women. He was going to kill all the 8s and 9s too.
Damn them for being pretty.
Oh yeah, he said like the day of the prank. The thing my brain immediately went to was Day of Retribution.
As Chet and another officer, is Chet really like okay? Oh, one thing here. I believe him zero that he put just words about like an amorphous disaster was going to happen. I believe that.
Yeah, that's gotta be
0%. 0%. Has no one found the documents from this case?
No, I'm pretty sure it's sealed. I wouldn't be surprised if it's sealed.
Yeah,
Hold
wasn't he a
on.
minor?
Hold on.
No, he was 18.
Oh, really? Okay. Oh yeah, that's right, because he went to jail.
Yeah, he went to big boy prison. He
Oh,
didn't
he
go
went
no
to prison?
juvie. Yeah.
Okay.
He didn't go to no bitch prison. That's what we call him in the ghetto. That's what we call juvie. Bitch
Hold on.
jail.
I'm hold on. I gotta gosh, there's gotta be court admin. We're gonna do they only have
I mean, he was
State
only in
records?
jail for 2 weeks. Didn't his parents throw a ton of
Yeah.
money at this, Katie?
Oh yeah, they were like, our son isn't going to jail. He's harmless.
Well, joke's on you, Mom and Dad.
Like, I feel so bad for his parents because, like, from everything I've gathered, they're real, like, decent people.
No, and dude, imagine what this would do to your psyche, too, if this was your son. Like, if you had to sit your son down every couple months and be like, why don't you stop suing celebrities?
Yeah, Russell, if you could just knock that off, that'd be great. I'm
Son, like, stop.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I just, like, can't. And, like, you have to understand, too, is, like, they're super Mormon. And so, like, there's, like, this religious guilt. And, like, I kind of. Because I've seen his other siblings, and, like, they don't look like them. So I kind of wonder if they're not all adopted, too. So like do they feel grateful to have someone like Russell, or was he just like the only one that was adopted, and they're like, fuck it, like this is like the cat from the pound, like we're just trying to do what's right.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Oh, this is some advertisement site. I'm gonna try and find this. And if you happen to be in Wyoming and are watching this, and you live anywhere near a courthouse, please find a way to direct message me on Twitter. I will tell you what to look for. I will pay. I would pay for these documents.
I will fly to Wyoming. I will fly to Wyoming if nobody can do it. 'Cause I need to get my hands.
I know, yeah, Wade Wilson says if the records existed, they'd be on Kiwi Farms. And that, I mean, I wouldn't be so sure. They might just need someone to literally go in person, and there's no one in Wyoming. So if you guys, if someone out there who sees this lives in Wyoming, close enough to one of the county seats, talk to me. I would love to get my hands on these documents. I don't know how they could seal them. Typically they would be public unless he was a minor, but I believe he was 18. At least when he was he was in court, he was 18. So it would take a lot to seal this.
Couldn't he petition later on, though, to get it sealed?
You usually have to have some reasonable grounds to do so. I don't know what they would be. Even if the case was dismissed, the arrest, all of that stuff should still be recorded. So, I don't underestimate you. But I think they've just got to be. Maybe they're too old to be on any sort of electronic filing, something. So you have to go in and get them to print off a copy, which probably cost, like $10 to $25, something like that. But if anybody out there is in Wyoming, hit me up. If we can arrange that, let's do it. Sorry. Okay, so where were we? Oh yeah, felt lower than dirt. As Chet and another officer interrogated me inside of a conference room of the administration section of the school, a crowd of students began forming outside of the offices. Cell phones ready to record the terrorist. You're a good kid. Wait. Should Chet be like a kid? Like, you're a good kid. You're a good kid.
Yeah, I think Chet smokes 2 packs of cigarettes a day.
Oh, let me get gravelier then. You're a good kid, Chet said to me after I had confessed to everything. You're always involved in school activities, and you play the piano so well. We'll try to get you off without any charges. I believe that 0%.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how does Chet know how well you play the piano, Russ?
Lost Cause 78. Can you DM me on Twitter and we'll talk about it? That would be great. Maxwell, stop asking. I already answered you. Unfortunately, the district attorney of Evanston, the school superintendent, and the police chief thought I was indeed a terrorist. My mother and I sat outside of the conference room as these 3 men and Chet. Wait. That's me 4 men. These 3 men and Chet discussed my fate. After what felt like an eternity of waiting, the leaders of the city filed out of the conference room, glaring at me. The leaders of the city? The district attorney of Evanston? The school superintendent and the police chief are not the leaders of the city, Russell.
He doesn't know how government structure works. They didn't teach him that in college.
I was gonna say, how was that government class in paralegal school?
Chet beckoned my mother and I into the room. Mr. Grier. Oh wait, Mr. Grier. Chet said very slowly in a painful voice. I'm so sorry. But can you please put your hands behind your back? You're under arrest.
My whole world suddenly stopped. Everything was in a haze as I turned around with my hands behind my back. My mother began sobbing. Chet led me out of the conference room in handcuffs. As he led me away to his police car, we passed the crowd of students who began taking pictures with their phones. World Star Hip Hop.
If anyone has those photos, I want them.
I'll pay for them.
Big money.
Before I knew it, I was sitting in a small concrete jail cell that had a bed and a metal toilet and sink, thinking that all was lost. I later learned that 2 other kids had seen what I had written on the wall, and they thought it would be funny to create a kill list that went along with what I had written. They listed people that I had never even met or even heard of. In a twist of irony, these kids were never arrested for what they did. It was a giant nightmare that wouldn't end. Bullshit. That's all bullshit. The handwriting would be different, wouldn't it?
You'd think. Does he have Mobius hand? I don't know. What is his hand? You know his handwriting's like impeccable too.
Oh yeah, have you seen his?
Oh wait, no. Yeah, I've seen his handwritten letter to the judge. It's not impeccable at all.
It looks like something like a serial killer writes. It's like
Yeah,
it's like Zodiac Killer.
He's not a good supervillain. If he were a good supervillain, his handwriting would be immaculate. Immaculate. Let's see. Okay. Is it my... No, it's Katie's turn. Katie's turn. Oh, wait. Here.
Okay.
This is solid legal advice right at the opening of this paragraph.
I know, I like this a lot. Like, damn it, Russell, why couldn't you tell my dad that?
If you've ever been to jail, don't go. It's scary, mean, miserable place. What the fuck did you think was gonna happen? I was fortunate enough to have nice inmates in my pod A, which is the name of the common area that holds up to 10 prisoners. I hope he had one, like, inmate in there that was, like, just this, like, burly man. He's like, Russell, you're my bitch. You know?
Does he get along with men okay?
No.
Okay.
No. Men just stay away from him, and he doesn't bother with men, but, like, women he's, like, persistent with.
Right. Yeah. Well, they owe him. They owe him a lot.
He does not. He doesn't put too much interest into men. In other pods, there were inmates who allegedly were gutting for me. They wanted to hurt me because I was a terrorist and because I looked different. I had already one incident of a man in the fitness area who tried attacking me for simply nodding at him in an acknowledging way. Because that incident, I stayed in my pod and watched TV. Like, so many things.
Grier, a guard said as he paged me through the intercom of my jail cell. You've got a visitor. I quickly stood up and waited for the electronic jail door to slide open to let me out. I was then escorted by a jail guard to the visiting area. As I entered the visiting area, which was a large room that had bulletproof glass separating inmate and visitor, I saw who my visitor was. My sister, Allison. She looked depressed upon seeing me. Now she knows how we all feel. Sorry. I was embarrassed to see her. Slowly, I approached a seat to sit across from her, and I picked up the phone to talk to her through the glass. Should, Sriracha, you want to take this one?
Yeah, I'll take a couple of. Allison, I said, I'm so sorry if I've put you through anything. Allison, being a year younger than me, was enrolled at the same school I was at and endured harassment for what her terrorist brother did. Russ, wait, what kind of voice should I do for Allison? I think she has an accent.
I don't know. German?
I don't think I can. Russ, I want you to know that I love you.
That's a weird German.
I can't do German. Sound like a Nazi. My sister said as she sobbed. We talked for about 20 minutes before the monitoring guard cut into our conversation. You got 2 minutes left, the guard said over the phone. Well, it's nice seeing you, I awkwardly quipped. Before you go, I want to repeat the lyrics of a song to you by a rising artist named Taylor Swift, my sister said. All right, you can go ahead, Katie. I think I'm done.
Ooh, Taylor, I teased. I teased, having never heard of the artist before. Is he your new crush? Taylor is the name of a girl, Russ. My sister said blankly. Oh, I replied. She has a new song called 15. The lyrics go, when you are 15, Don't forget to look before you fall. I've found that time can heal almost anything, and you just might find who you are supposed to be. I didn't know who I was supposed to be at 18. My sister recited. Russ, you can make it through this. Mom and Dad have hired a really good attorney for you. You're only 18. You can figure out who you are and where you want to go in life. Don't give up. My sister and I said our goodbyes, and then I was escorted back to my jail cell.
What did you do, Allison? What did you do?
Yeah, we
So
need to
Allison,
sue
no.
Allison. Taylor needs to
Girl.
sue Allison.
Russ, you're still young. You haven't found out what you're gonna be yet, Russ. You could be a horrific stalker that chain sues celebrities
And hookers.
and
Don't
gets
forget
kicked
hookers.
and manages to be the one guy who gets kicked out of the bunny ranch.
You know how, like, Lamar Odom is not banned from the Bunny Ranch,
Yeah.
but Russell is.
Okay. Back in Pod A, the inmates were watching the TV hooked up to the wall. As I made my way up to my cell on the balcony, I glanced at what they were watching. The music channel, VH1. The channel was playing top 40 music videos of the year 2009. The next music video they played... Wait, did VH1 ever play current year music? I thought they always played music from like 12 years prior. The next music video they played was for the artist whom my sister admired and whom she had just told me about, Taylor Swift. The music video for Taylor's song, You Belong With Me, played on the TV.
It was a sign.
How convenient.
The darkest of prophecies. Sidebar, did you guys watch Glee?
Yeah.
I
I watched
always-
the first season.
I always thought that when the one cheerleader chick turned out to be a lesbian with the other cheerleader chick and dumped Artie for her, I thought Artie should have sang "You Belong With Me" to her. I thought that would have been perfect, but they never did it. So, Ryan Falchuk can get bent. Never returning my calls. Brad Falchuk. Maybe it's because I got his name wrong. Anyway. All of the inmates began to holler and hoot at Taylor. Take off those glasses, baby.
They want more than the fucking glasses.
That's the level of banter you get in a good Mormon jail in Wyoming.
Oh my
Take
god,
off-
I forgot it was a Mormon jail. That's hilarious. It sounds like a Saturday Night Live sketch.
I didn't say anything, as I was in a trance upon seeing Taylor Swift. Why is there an extra E? Taylor Swift. My sister's hero.
And my future lady.
All of my misery and seemingly impending doom faded away as I watched her on the TV. She seemed so perfect in every move she made. 2009 Taylor Swift is a minor still, right? I don't know. She wouldn't have been much younger than Russell.
She was born in 1989.
Oh, no, so she would have been 20. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't realize
Oh,
she
wow,
was
really?
that old with You Belong With Me. Because she was like 15 when she started, right? With like the teardrops on my guitar and stuff. She was pretty young.
Yeah, and she's
She started out pretty young. My cousin does a lot. He did one of Taylor Swift's first tour. And I think she said she was like 13 or 15 around there.
Yeah, she's young. Anyway, okay, so I guess it's not super creepy, other than just the reality of it. It's not compounded by her being too young. Yeah, she seemed so perfect in every move she made. She seemed to have a light in her eyes. There's a bunch of light shining
it's called
literally.
a Klieg light.
Yeah, literally light shining in her eyes and reflecting back at the camera. Her voice was angelic. Some people go to jail and find God. For me, I went to jail and found Taylor Swift. Russell, on on the list of problematic statements. That's there. That's there. You should talk to your therapist.
If Taylor Swift does find this like paragraph alone, she's like, "Holy fuck, this kid is scary." She has every right to be afraid of him because he sounds like a creepy stalker.
All
Oh my
right.
god. Things started to look up in my life after I had witnessed the incredibility of Taylor Swift. Her songs became the soundtrack of my life that helped me get through my darkest days. With the skill of a good lawyer, my stay in jail was only 2 weeks long, and we should sue the state of Wyoming for that.
Yeah. You should have kept him. You should have kept
The greatest mistakes the court ever made.
was convincing the world Grier didn't exist.
That no, Jay. The court wanted me held in the jail until after the 19th to ensure that no disasters would happen. 3 months after that, the felony charge was suddenly dismissed by the judge the judge with no apparent explanation. In addition, I had enough credits to graduate high school early, and so I was given my diploma and asked never to step foot back at the high school ever again, which was fine by me. Luckily, my employer held my job for me too. I was a free man once again. No convictions were ever ruled on me, though I was left with a tarnished reputation. Those who were once my friend steered clear of me. That was probably the only good thing the whole ordeal had brought me. It showed me who my true friends were.
Judging
While I
by
was-
the previous sentence, none of them. No one.
No one. Turns out it was no one. It's gonna be a running theme through your life, Russell. While I was still figuring out who I was supposed to be, one thing was clear. I needed to get out of small-minded Evanston, Wyoming. Before I knew it, I was enrolled at a college in Salt Lake City, Utah, with an eye towards becoming a paralegal, and never returned to the judgmental town.
Okay, I don't know anything about Salt Lake City practically because I've never been there and met the people. But when you tell me you need to get out of small-minded Evanston and you wind up in Salt Lake,
Isn't Salt Lake City like super liberal though?
is it?
It is. We have a gay mayor.
Oh, okay. I thought
Like,
there was no
super
way because
liberal.
I thought it was like the Mormon stronghold of the earth.
We're
No,
gerrymandered to like shit, but like actual Salt Lake is very liberal.
Okay, I stand absolutely corrected. It just wouldn't occur to like I gotta get out of this small-minded place onto Salt Lake City.
I'm going to Mormon land.
Salt Lake City.
And the other thing is too is like the college is open enrollment. So like as long as you like can pay and like can pass the English test, you're in.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Whose turn is this paragraph? Is it me? Is it you?
It might be me.
Yeah, I think it's you, Katie.
Okay.
During my first semester of college in the summer of 2010, the wardens are questioning Stall? Is that
question still.
Still followed.
Still followed me. Who is Russell Greer? Sleepless nights plagued me as the questions rattled around in my head. I was trying to forget about that brief, dark spot in my past. People in Evanston still thought of me as a terrorist. I had a sense of guilt for what I had done. My parents still wanted me to go on a mission. They threatened to withhold funding for college if I didn't go. Valuing my education and wanting to get rid of my past, I felt that a mission would help me discover the answer to that question. Who is Russell Greer? Before I knew it, the headquarters of the Mormon Church sent me a letter in writing in 2011 that ordered me to go and become an American Sign Language missionary in Mesa, Arizona. I was sure to find myself there.
I mean, bang up choice, church.
Wait,
I'm
does he
amazed
know
he-
sign language?
No, so when you go on a mission, you can literally get called to do anything.
Yeah.
If they were like, Russell, you're gonna learn Mandarin, it's like, all right, I'm gonna learn Mandarin.
And you get like a crash course in it, full immersion, right? Like that's the
Yes. So you do, it counts on what language and like how much you know, because primarily because I'm from Pennsylvania and my mom is like Amish, so like Amish people speak German. So like when I wanted to go and like when my friends would go on missions because we all spoke German, we all got sent like to Germany and stuff, you know.
sure.
And so but if you know it, it isn't as long, but normally it'll take anywhere from 9 to 16 weeks for you to learn it.
Yeah, I thank you, Stephen Severin, Salt Lake City. Everything I know about Mormonism comes from one friend who is a Mormon, plus the Book of Mormon, the musical.
The Book of Mormon's pretty accurate.
I have heard. That's what makes it so funny. Okay. Flash forward a year and a half later. Russell, you can't make me swear on my stream. How rude. You Mormon B words. You guys will have to read it yourself. I can't do it. A drunk old man shouted, firing his shotgun into the warm, nighttime Arizona sky. Get off my property before you end up dead. My mission companion and I had simply knocked on his door to share our message with him. We did not expect this. Scared for our lives, we ran away through his weedy, unkempt yard. Well, that's a little rude. My companion tripped and fell, muddying his white button-up shirt. I hurried and lifted him up, and we continued running for our lives. After we got a safe distance away, we stopped to catch our breath. Sriracha.
This is bullshit, man. I told my companion as I breathed deeply. I didn't sign up for this. Elder Grier, my companion told me. The Lord is blessing us for this. Blessing us how? I retorted. We could have gotten killed back there. The apostles in the New Testament had stones thrown at... Wait, are there apostles in... What is the Mormon book? What is it called?
The Book of Mormon.
Book of Mormon?
It's literally called the Book of Mormon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my god. The apostles in the New Testament had stones thrown at them, my companion reassuring me. I rolled my eyes at him. Look, Elder, I only came on a mission to find myself and make my family happy. I've given my family a false impression that I'm doing some sort of good out here, but I still haven't found myself, I explained as I paced back and forth. I should be in college right now. I want to be a screenwriter and a songwriter, but instead I have to devote every waking moment to some crap that I don't even think is true.
Okay, sidebar. While he was on his mission, him and 3 other missionaries went to a strip club.
They were just trying to save the good ladies of that establishment.
Yeah, they were. No, like he was so bad on his mission, and like he paints himself as like this great missionary, and it's like, dude, you were not. No, honey.
That's true. He also posted all over his Facebook about going to a strip club on his mission.
Yes, and he posted each of the gentlemen and like called them out for it because they acted holier than thou. He felt that was bad news bears.
What a disaster of a person.
He's a liability as a friend.
Yeah, that's violation of the bro code, which I think supersedes the Book of Mormon.
That's actually a section in the Book of Mormon, I think.
Yeah.
Bagel Goose says Taylor Swift is the only true God in all caps. So really means it. Really means it. Okay, is it me?
I think it's me.
Oh, yes, go ahead.
It's true, my companion argued with me. The Baptists say their religion is the true church. The Jews, the Muslim, they all say the same thing. They all have the truth, I argued back. I haven't found any truth. The only truth I have found is this isn't the path for me. So, what do you want to do? My companion asked in a serious manner. I want to go home, I said yearningly. I want to be a regular person again.
Again doesn't work there, I don't think.
I want to go back to jail. At least I got 3 squares in there.
At least there's no women for me to force me to stalk them in jail.
At least I was only dodging shivs and not shotguns.
My companion understood my plight, and so he called the mission president. In all honesty, 3 months into my mission, I decided a mission wasn't what I was supposed to do. I tried to escape the mission on a Greyhound bus, but ended up getting caught by my mission president. Through brainwashing and extortion, the mission president and my family held me on the mission under duress. I saw modest success with converting people to the church, but it didn't make me happy. I couldn't teach a lesson without almost busting up laughing at what I was saying. It almost felt like I was in jail all over again. Mormon missionaries are required to abide by a strict schedule and strict rules. No electronics, no communication with loved ones, no staying up to date with current affairs. How I managed to stay on the mission for 21 months was anyone's guess. As we drove to the office of the mission president, I turned on the radio. Though we weren't allowed to listen to music, my companion let me. The disc jockey had finished playing Taylor Swift's song, Mean. That Taylor Swift. What a dame, the disc jockey said coolly. She's in the news again, this time helping a bullying victim out. As I listened to the disc jockey, I remembered seeing Taylor Swift on the jail TV. She really did seem like a great person. It seemed that Taylor had always been there through the hardest parts of my life with her music. I guess that's why she would mean so much to me. Even though, literally, I'd just seen her a couple years before. But all of the hardest parts of my life, she was there.
God, this is like reading the diary, that guy that said, what was that celebrity was sending it subtle invitations to him and he had to shoot her husband.
Yeah. I don't know.
This is terrifying. This should be studied at a university psychology class.
It's studied probably at like the FBI's place in Virginia. What's that place called?
Quantico?
Quantico. They probably have a copy of this.
Yeah. Freaky Geek says, all hail the mighty Tay-Tay. We are your humble servants, and Russell Grier is our prophet.
2 years later, in 2014, I was back in college. I was a full-time student and held 2 part-time jobs. All the money from those jobs, spoiler, will go to the bunny ranch. I had only a few semesters of college, and then I would start looking for work in my career field of law, but I wasn't satisfied that I was on the path to discovering who I was. I continued to have a longing for the entertainment industry. I had a taste for the theatrics ever since I was a kid. Ever since I was young, I had been playing some sort of instrument. While I was physically limited in expressing myself, music helped me convey my inner emotions. Writing has also been one of my strengths and has helped me express myself. I really want to drink. Jesus Christ.
Self-awareness level 0.
I had been writing so many stories for so long that I forgot when I even started writing creatively. And never is the answer.
Yeah. All right, I think you're up, Katie.
Because of my disability, my path to the entertainment industry has been hard. While I can write and pitch my stories easily, recording my music has been hard for me since I can't clearly express myself, and finding people to read music is next to impossible.
Right. Right.
Like, I'm
Next
pretty
to-
sure that's
Wait. Wait, he's saying that it's possible to read music or that it's impossible to find other people that can read
you
music?
can't find anyone that can read music.
Nobody.
Yeah.
My 10-year-old can read music. He can't find anybody who can do
I was
it.
gonna say, even in the pop and entertainment capital of Salt Lake City, you must be able to find somebody that can read piano lyrics.
Go to the LDS church. Someone there on the choir
Like,
can
we have
read
the Mormon
notes.
Tabernacle Choir who goes on tour. You can't find anyone, Russell? We got invited to sing at President Trump's inauguration, and you're gonna say no one knows how to read music.
And those kids are like 7. Oh wait, no, the Mormon Tabernacle Choir is the adult one, but they have a kids
they're
choir
legit.
too, don't they? I mean,
No.
Oh, they don't? Is that just the Catholics?
Yeah, I think you're thinking of the Catholics. No, that's not us.
All right, sorry. Go on. Carry on.
All right. For instance, several times in college, I had formed small music groups, quasi bands, but it never really went anywhere because nobody understood my vision, nor could they read music.
Hold on. I'm gonna reread that line, but exactly how it went across in my head. But it never really went anywhere just because nobody understood my vision, nor could they read my music.
That's exactly it.
Is he Napoleon Dynamite?
Yes. You just don't get it. Can you...
You're just jealous because I'm chatting online with hot hookers all day.
I'm paying them and they're taking my checks.
Like, I know people at the BC were dumb as rocks, and I was only there because of like situational, but like, what? They weren't that stupid. They could read some music. Other times, I found people who understood me, but they wanted to rewrite my songs from pop rock to a soft, cheesy rock. At times, I felt sick to my stomach because I knew I had gifts that needed to be shared with the world, but I didn't know how to express my talents. I had auditioned for the TV show America's Got Talent and did a very unique act with a variety act about overcoming disabilities. Sadly, the casting calls passed me up because of my disability, per conversation with the executive of the production company for the show. They didn't
Okay.
pass you up because of your disability. I saw the act. It was shit.
Oh, we've all seen the act.
We watched. I did play it on stream. Hold on. Here's the footnote.
Yeah, please, for the love of God, read the footnote.
I talked to Alex Bajkar, VP of Fremantle Media, production company of AGT. They would let me use a slideshow for my act to help me with my speech and talking. I felt extremely discriminated by the production company. Now, note what he said. They would let me use a slideshow for my act to help me with my speech and talking. Does he mean wouldn't? Or does he say they're like, whoa, listen, we can't understand you. Do you want to use a slideshow to help out? Or are they saying no?
The disability is that they didn't let him go on the show.
Yeah, I felt extremely discriminated by the production company. It hurt even more seeing them allow dumb acts on the show, but not letting me on telling others how to overcome their disability. I urge my readers to boycott that show. Hey, Russell, maybe you didn't overcome it. Like, if you're blaming it for holding you back, you didn't overcome it, and you'd be a bad person to give advice. Because, like, there's that guy with no arms and no legs who's an internationally recognized motivational speaker and surfer and skateboarder. He overcame his disabilities. I think that guy can even swim.
I was going to say, isn't he like a really good swimmer, too?
Yeah.
Nick Vajarnik or whatever his name is.
Yeah, I think so. But I mean, like, you're literally here blaming your disability every 2 seconds for your entire life. And don't get me wrong, it's got to be rough, but you didn't overcome it. You're stuck in it.
While I was on my break at my night job, a janitorial job at the college, I pulled up Google News on my iPod, and the top trending story was of Taylor Swift, who had accepted 4 prom dates back to back. Apparently, 3 of the boys saw one of the boys ask her, so it inspired the other 3 to ask her. It was such an odd yet fascinating article. Inspiration hit me as I read through the article, and a plan began to formulate in my head. What if I could stand out and impress Taylor Swift? From what I could find, these boys had done minor things to go to prom with Taylor. I could do something 10 times better. I wasn't just trying to flatter her. Ever since I saw her music video, I had purchased all of her albums and would listen to them until 1 a.m. at my night job. I wanted to thank her for her music by doing something special for her. Big mistake.
Russell, you weren't asking her to prom. It wasn't cute and innocent. You were asking her out. That's different. It's a different connotation than asking a celebrity to prom is asking a celebrity to just dinner.
You're a grown-ass man. This is not appropriate.
I remembered seeing a Pepsi commercial that had Taylor Swift writing music on sheet paper. Surely she can help my ideas come to life. If anyone can read music, it's Taylor Swift.
Literally, the only person in this country I know that can read music is Taylor Swift. I need to get in contact with her. How will I get my song made?
Gosh, she must be busy. She must be busy reading the music for everybody else.
Taylor Swift is personally responsible for all music reading that goes on in the United States of America.
Surely she could help my ideas come to life, but I would have to be head and shoulders above everybody else if this were to work. It would have to be more than a cardboard shout out or an amateur video. With my little experience of trying to get into the entertainment industry, I was familiar with unsolicited policies. Wait, what?
But were you?
I'm not convinced by that sentence. I imagine that she probably had unsolicited policies in place, so I couldn't send her a song for her to use or to consider. There seemed to be an exception to that rule. Oh, what on earth makes you think there's an exception to that rule?
80s movies.
Yeah, maybe you should have taken the John Cusack and just stood outside her house with a boombox.
It's called the Hurricane Clause, I believe.
There seemed to be an exception to that rule. What if I send her a fan-made song that just talked about how awesome she was? Oh wait, should we do it like a Dean Martin voice? Since that's how he hears himself. As a sort of gift? ? I had seen her showcase and accept gifts before via her Twitter account. The musical gift would be so unique that she would be flattered by it, and also at the same time it would show my music talent. It was then and there, on that summer night in 2014, that I decided I was going to impress and win over Taylor Swift. Ding! Not a date. With Taylor Swift, the warden's question could finally be resolved, as acceptance by a celebrity would give me a sense of purpose and meaning.
Isn't that the saddest line you've read in this book so far?
Yes.
And also, Nick and Katie, I'd like to call your attention to something. You see on the third line where it says it would have to be more than a cardboard shout out.
He tried that.
Yeah, why don't you flip forward literally 3 pages to page 46?
There it is.
Describe the picture. That's all.
Like you tried it, Russell. That's why.
Wait, that's 44. Is there another one?
Yeah, one more.
There it is.
46.
Let's rock out together. Please visit my Kickstarter and help kickstart my dream. # swiftly wooing Taylor Swift.
Not a date.
Not a date.
So, Nick.
He did this. So this is where the college has you can get your food and stuff, and I'll never forget it because I was in the dining room and he was slurping away, being like, "Will you take my photo?" And I was like, "No, go fuck yourself." Kept going to table to table asking people if they would take his photo.
Wait, so is it a photo of you, or are you gonna have that weird sign with you?
He wanted to sign it off.
You guys are gonna be eating your words when he gets noticed and goes on a date. Not a date with Taylor Swift.
And his entire life is valid because some celebrity noticed him once.
I hope for the sake of the story, Taylor Swift does find love with him, but it probably will not happen.
Yeah, that's the ultimate meme, is that Taylor Swift, they finally square off in court in Tennessee, and she falls madly in love with him immediately, dumps whatever D-list celebrity she's dating at the time, and runs off into the wilderness.
I'm going to pass up this Hemsworth's brother for Russell.
Oh, is she dating one of the Hemsworths?
I don't know. I would have to.
But listen, did either of the Hemsworth brothers ever make her a sign?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
No, they
No.
probably did some mundane and boring thing, like just be handsome and walk up to her.
Russell can give her a better life. That's
Oh,
been
yeah.
his like his latest kick. He like puts on these girls like Instagram of like, I can give you a better life.
He
Oh.
constantly posts, yeah, no, on not just Instagram, but Instagram models that are vacationing in Bali and Paris. But Russell can give you a better life, ladies. Make no mistake.
Mm. I mean, who? How could you think he couldn't? He's literally writing an entire book, complaining about everything in his life, without the recognition of a celebrity. Why would you think that someone like that might not be capable of giving you the best life possible? And the real question is, if you're not a celebrity, like, isn't he shooting himself? You two are female. I'm not. But if a guy was obsessively, like, spending his entire life doting on a Taylor Swift and an Ariana Grande meal, wouldn't that, I mean, like, that would be depressing and off-putting, I would think, as a female, because you'd think, well, if I'm not a celebrity, he'll never look at me or put that much value in who I am, right? Like, that's what I get out of that. But I don't know.
When Russell was in college, he tried to. So my roommate was really pretty. She was blonde, skinny, gorgeous girl. I thought she was one of the most prettiest girls I've ever met. He tried to date my roommate, and my roommate did like 2 pity dates with him, and after a while it became like this, like, I'm obsessed with Taylor Swift, and it was like a real big red flag for her. And then on top of it, like, after she was like, hey, I don't want to go on any more dates with you, he got really aggressive.
Yeah.
And so, like, I think like the Taylor Swift stuff is just a red flag of all the rest of the crazy going on.
Wait, what flavor of aggressive? Like aggressively texting, or I'm gonna chop your door down? Aggressive.
Like stalking. We luckily lived in a pretty high security place, but she would text me being like, he's following me. He's in the same area as me. He was never like physically violent, but he definitely was a stalker, and it was creepy sometimes.
Jesus Christ, I'm glad you had security.
Yeah.
Did he ever, like, stand outside and look at the window or anything like Michael Myers did in Halloween?
No, but if there was a homeless man right across from our place, and his name was George, and I would feed him biscuits to keep Russell away.
Wait till you use the homeless guy outside of your building as like your guard dog?
Yeah.
Hey,
I'm gonna
the
give
ghetto,
him
like,
bark at
you give
like,
you
go.
you give him
Russell
some good
hates homeless
biscuits.
people. Yeah, Russell hates homeless people. So we just used George to our benefit.
Did George use any, like, particular method of keeping him away? Did he, like, bark at him or act crazy or anything?
He was a little crazy. Like, he definitely, because he chased me like my first week in Salt Lake, and I was so scared. And like, like, once you got to talk to him, he was fine. He just got really acquainted with us.
I was just hoping, like, Russell comes up and he's like, "Hey, wash your windshield. I'm walking." Yeah. So, you got a problem with the homeless?
Yeah, he hates homeless people.
Well, George, I drink to you for keeping two fine females safe. That was a noble thing you did.
Katie, do you know anything about the dates your roommate went on with him? Like, where did he take her? Was he a gentleman at least?
He was a gentleman. Like, he paid, but it was like fast food. You know, it was like, let's go to McDonald's. There's this place called Crown Burger that's like diagonally from our campus, and it's like equivalent to like a Burger King.
I'll give you a double quarter pounder.
I'll give you a better life.
Yeah.
Hold on. Someone said he wrote a new song a month or two ago where the chorus is, "You deserve a better life right here with me."
Oh, Jesus, please.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. I happen to know about this. He has not released it publicly, probably because of the damn dirty trolls on Gateway Farms. But he did release a segment of the chorus. I guess he got it professionally recorded. And my theory right now is that he's sending it to just every Instagram thoughty he can get it a username for and say, hey, I wrote this song for you.
But did he use a knockoff Darius Rucker this time?
Honest to God, Nick, it sounds like Soundcat Studios again.
Oh, you know it was. I thought, credit to Soundcat Studios. I think they did a fantastic job with his original work.
I agree.
Yeah, with the shit heap they were given, I imagine.
Can you imagine them them being like, all right, well, we did the best we can, and giving it back to him, being like, this is shit. And it's like, what did you want different,
They're like the Mr. Happy nuclear reactor on the DeLorean at the end of Back to the Future. You could just put garbage in and they turned it into fuel and made it gold.
And that singer, I don't think sounds anything like Darius Rucker.
Not a lick.
I'm just gonna say it. Not even a little bit. That guy's clearly white.
I really hope that song comes out.
Oh, it's going to have to.
There happens to be an Instagram model in the audience. Please. Please. I won't even dox you. Please just send it to me.
Find a way to get that out. The song sample is on his SoundCloud. Oh, is it? Let's give that a little gander.
This is also the dude, I'm surprised it's been hidden for so long. This is the guy who accidentally made his whole book available through Amazon samples.
There's so many Russell Greers on SoundCloud. Oh, there's the one. Okay.
There's R. Russell. Oh, it's on his SoundCloud?
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and let me see if I can. Tell me if you guys can hear this, or if you. I'm gonna play it. I don't know if I can get it so that you two can hear it, unless you maybe if you mute your mics and turn on the stream for a second.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I think that's the only way.
Okay, here it comes.
This is a demo by Russell Grier of Salt Lake City, Utah. Have a better life, right here, right here, right here, right here, here with me.
Wait, what is this? You don't ever have to play another sad song. Did he write all these?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I need to bone up on the Russell Greer lore.
I believe the You Don't Have to Sing Another Sad Song was created to flatter Katy Perry. Basically, it went about as well as the Taylor Swift song, believe it or not.
That was probably when Katy Perry gave Taylor Swift the olive branch. Like, she's like, I now understand everything that you've been going through.
It's just crazy to go through here and see all the different celebrities he's tried, T Swizzle, Kylie Jenner, Ariana Grande,
Heidi Klum, Juliana Ho, Kylie Jenner. Oh wait, you already said Kylie Jenner.
Farrah Abraham, which
he went after Farrah.
Oh, he also
Oh
sued Farrah, by the way, Nick, because she liked the tweet of his.
Wait, he sued Farrah Abraham too?
Yes, because she liked a tweet, and that's legally binding.
Why?
She's not wrong. We're making that up. He said he's something like, Farrah, will you go on a date with me? And I guess her whatever unpaid college intern is running her Twitter account liked it. And then he considered that a legally binding contract and tried to sue her for the date.
And Sarah was like, I will sue you. And he was like, oh shit, this is too much power.
Okay. I have to ask, because I don't know. This is a genuine question. What do they teach at the paralegal school? Because that's a basic...
It counts on the teacher you get.
Sure.
But, to be very honest, it was a really shitty education. Because, you have to understand is, the BC is a part of the church educational system.
Oh.
And the church's educational system, like, the BC's really primarily for if, like, you cannot pass your English test to get to BYU, which is like the mecca of like all Mormon schools.
Right.
So if you can't pass an English test or your GPA is too low, you either go to BYU, I do, up in Idaho, or you go to the LDS Business College for one of those two areas to work out that problem and then transfer. But Russell went there with the intent of getting his degree. And like the paralegal program is run by an attorney. The attorney who runs it's a wonderful woman. She's very educated, but there's just the teachers kind of suck because no one wants that job.
But what's like the curriculum? Because Russell thinks that he is a lawyer, right? Like
yeah, and in his defense, that is all because of the college.
Okay.
Because they tell you, like, there was multiple times that I had teachers tell me that I could do everything an attorney can do except for like two things.
Yeah. I mean,
and
in theory, I guess it's just that what we spend. Now, I imagine that you guys in that program, you guys work on the process of everything, right? Like how you functionally write up documents, what the requirements are, what the rules are of like civil procedure and stuff like that. Is that
yeah,
right?
Sometimes it counts on kind of what like you do, because like I have my associates from there in
Sure.
paralegal program, which is different than a certificate. So I took more classes than probably someone with a certificate. A lot of my classes did entail the procedure, but some of it did entail like the meat of it, of like understanding how certain laws work and why they work in such of a way. But I wouldn't be surprised if he had really bad teachers.
Sure. Well, there you go. Russell will throw you a bone and give you a little bit of a pass.
That actually explains a lot.
Because and to be fair, like the failing of law school, I think at least the one I went to, which I shouldn't blame the law school entirely, because there's certain programs you can take to help out or extracurriculars you can do. I lived hours away and had when I started law school, I had 2 kids, I think, and had a third during it. So I didn't really do extracurricular stuff. I did the classwork, and that was about it. But other than going to the bar after class before driving home and only having one drink, I'm a good boy, not a Landau. But the in the classes in law school, you spend it's all research. It's all research how the law is applied currently. It's very it's impractical. It's impractical in the law field, and all of the mechanical stuff you have to learn on the job or in an internship or a clerkship or something like that. But so I didn't know what the paralegal program was like.
Yeah, and see, like for me, when I started, I had an internship at a bankruptcy attorney, and she did some other things as well, but like having to learn how to serve people, I had no idea. Like the college did not explain serving to me, and I think that's why he's having so much problems right now with his current case with the.
Oh, I was about to say Russell has no idea how to serve either, so don't feel bad.
And like honestly, it wasn't until I read like the Kiwi boards today, because they pointed out the federal. Because like currently in my job, I don't do serves. I really am a researcher.
Yeah.
For my position, but like I would have no idea either.
Yeah, you gotta read the federal rules of civil procedure, and you've got to know what they mean. And that's a horrendous class. Might I add, it's one of the first required classes that we, or it's required your first semester of law school. At least at my school it was. I think that's pretty standard, and it's horrifyingly boring. And I do not like it. I am not a big fan on procedure. I would much rather do the arguments and figure out how the law is applied rather than mechanically how to get a document to someone and have it count. But it's important. You got to know it. You got to know it, Russell. Tillip says Swift's current boyfriend looks like a melted G.I. Joe, which maybe, I mean, that's kind of like what Russell's fantasy was, right? Being in the army and falling up face first on a landmine.
Yeah, I was gonna say conversely, Russell kind of looks like a melted cheese.
Oh my god. Yeah. Someone took the magnifying glass out and had a time. Well, guys, that's chapter 2. That's chapter 2 of Russell's book. Do you two have any closing thoughts as we wrap this up? I mean, it's nonstop hits with this guy. Everything he touches is gold. I mean, his SoundCloud does way better than mine.
That's what I think is so hard for him to, like, because he rage quits like every other week, and it's like, I don't think he'll ever quit because he does get attention.
If he...
Oh, absolutely, he's addicted to attention. I'm sorry, Nick, go ahead.
Oh, no. I was going to say, though, like, these people, there's certain people outside, like Maddox, for example, Russell. And I'm not saying that Maddox is like Russell Grier. I'm saying there's overlap in some of the, I guess, the problems holding them back, in my opinion. If Maddox would set his pride aside and just talk about some of this stuff instead of having this like weird moral code where he won't address certain issues, he could monetize the heck out of it and people would buy it. Absolutely. Russell Grier could monetize himself pretty effectively, I think, if he did some like YouTube live streams. Could you imagine the super chats that would come in if Russell like sat there and just streamed his songwriting process? The guy would make a fortune.
Or just like answered questions about his life. Like $5 minimum, ask me anything. But it is the pride thing. And also Russ and Maddox, there's some weird similarities too. They're both from Utah and they both hate whales also.
Wait, Russell hates whales?
Yeah, he posted something about like a whale bit a person. He was like, this is why I don't donate to the what's it called? UP, whatever the animal charity is.
ASPCA.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm getting requests for another chapter, and I know they're not that long, but it is like 9 pages, and this stream has been an hour and 45 minutes. I think if we do another chapter, we'll be at it for another hour and 45 minutes, and I think it'd be better if we just, next week did another chapter.
Yeah, it's 2 a.m. in New York. I gotta go to work tomorrow, guys. I'm sorry.
Right. It's the middle of the week. I don't think we're gonna do another chapter, but let's plan on next Wednesday, same time. We'll do chapter 3. I'm not sure who all will be on the show, but we will see who will be here. And we'll work that out. I'll make announcements. Follow me on Twitter or whatever for announcements regarding that. But it should be the same time, 11 p.m. Central, midnight Eastern, assuming I can confirm with some guests. And we will read chapter 3, and then we'll read chapter 4. And guys, I'm working up. I can make no promises, but I'm going to see if I can get Scordus on for at least an interview, if not to help us out with chapter 7. I don't know if he's going to do that. He's probably a classy guy. He may be bound by some sort of confidentiality, but I'm certainly going to ask. And if nothing else, I'm going to try and get a Scordus interview on just what was going on there. Are you saying the
attorney?
Yeah, the attorney in the Utah, or the Utah small claims case.
The one who represented Taylor Swift and Ariana.
Yeah. We're gonna work that and see.
Get him to play his character. I think his name is John Smith.
I want to know more about his daughter and Russ. Because Russell started being creepy on his daughter.
On Scordus's daughter?
Yes.
That is horrifying.
Yes. So he might not do. I would be kind of surprised if he does, because he felt his safety of his daughter was in jeopardy, and the daughter was in high school. So
Well,
I wouldn't be surprised if he did not play ball, but you never know.
Yeah,
But
I'm gonna ask him very politely, attorney to attorney, and ask him to come on the show, and just see if he'd do it. But I am putting up a picture of Taylor Swift and her boyfriend right now, so there you go. That's a. What's his hair doing? Does he have an ombre going?
a little bit.
Is that what that's
He just
called?
looks like he hasn't dyed his roots.
Yeah, maybe, but do people still? I mean, I know Maxwell bleaches his hair, but does this?
No, it does look like shit.
This is terrible, and it's not a very flattering picture of Taylor either. But like she's in the middle of doing a weird thing, like a note, and he's just staring off into space. But I don't know. I could draw
Russell
stuff
could
on
give
him.
her a better life.
Taylor, you need to start thinking about your future.
Russell, do you want to have? I
What-
can't. Oh, and I do think it also needs to be told that like people at the college treated Russell differently because so Mormons have a belief that, and I know you want to get off, but like real fast, they believe that like people who have disabilities were they ushered Satan out of the kingdom from being with Heavenly Father. And so these people are deformed because God made them that way so that Satan wouldn't recognize them. And that so Satan's like, because when Satan left, 1/3 of like God's people left too, and they got
Right.
banished.
Yeah.
And so like the 1/3 won't like, they won't be able to like tempt or abuse these such righteous souls. And so like a lot of people felt like Russell was one of these like righteous souls in heaven that took out Satan, you know? And so the coin phrase in my household is God's favorite idiot, because that's what he is.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Like and I'm not one to talk down about any faith, and I certainly won't. But it's so interesting the extrapolations people get from different texts and how that becomes tradition and stuff like that is great.
Yeah. So I just felt like you needed to know that little tidbit too, because like when people are have treated him so well is because people around him, especially in Utah, which is primarily Mormons, really feel like he is a really righteous soul.
That could not have possibly helped his psychological development.
Absolutely not.
Maybe he needs to start looking like maybe he does have a valid point that his disability has held him back, but just not in the ways he thinks. Okay, so Lost Cause 78. Yeah, thanks, man. Have a good night, and I will respond to your Twitter DM, and we'll figure that out. If you can get that case document, we'll live stream the heck out of that. So, all right, guys. Well, let's wrap it up. Thank you to my two guests for coming on. I really appreciate it. Katie, thank you so much for the insight into the mind and actions of Russell Grier, the personal story of was his name George? I'm gonna call him Biscuits, the homeless guy.
Biscuits the homeless
that
guy.
that couldn't have gone much better than it did. So anyways, again, if you're here for Grier, come back on Wednesday. But if you haven't seen my other content, check out some of it. See if you like it. Tomorrow, I will be doing a live stream, although it will have very specific rules for the chat, just so that because it's going to be a deep topic. So we're going to do a long period of like explanations, and then I will do a question period that follows that, and then back into it, just to help the flow with playback later. But we're going to be doing a defense of Cody Wilson, everything from not that I'm defending Cody Wilson, but talking about how you would defend a case like Cody Wilson's based on the information we have. It's actually a really complicated thing to do, and it's extra hard because an attorney has to be really awful to a 16-year-old girl. So we'll talk about that, and I think that might be pretty neat for people. Maybe not, but if you're interested in the Cody Wilson case, we'll be talking about the evidence levied against him and how they can construct a narrative and try and sell it to a jury. So come check that out tomorrow. That'll be at 11 p.m. Central as well. And then again, Friday, Doug Tenapal, the creator of Earthworm Jim, will be on stream at 11 p.m. Central, and we will be talking about all sorts of stuff. Intellectual property, we'll be talking about family, we'll be talking about politics and faith and everything. Making comics. So come join us. Anyways, thanks guys for watching. I'm going to end the stream now, and to my two guests, don't leave just yet. We'll close out a warm close. I hate cold closes, but if you want to say goodbye to people, please do.
Hey, thank you for listening, everybody, and thanks for having me on again, Nick.
Yeah,
Hey.
Thank you for having me too. I really have enjoyed this.
Absolutely. All right, we'll talk to you guys later. Have a good night.
Hey,